Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How are you today?
I'm good. Last Wednesday of the year.
Yes, it is. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought. I mean, I thought about it, but I hadn't really thought about it that way. So,
and I didn't mention it back earlier this month, but we had a whole series of days in this month where the days matched up like 12, 11, 21 was like forward and backward, and 12, 22, 21 was forward and backward. I forgot to mention those. So that was a week
today
ago.
Is not one of those though, right?
It's not. No, I forgot to mention it. It was on my list, and I think that's cool.
Yes, it is. It is indeed. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Antidote as we get ready to close out 2021. Hard to believe, and yet it is true. We hope that you will enjoy our conversation today. It's what we do. We have a conversation around a topic. The topic this week is ready, set, ... And
three dots.
Three dots. I messed up then. I think I only put two in today.
Oh, three dots is the ellipsis for you people that remember your ninth grade English. The ellipsis.
Look at the facts that you have. What people learn on this show. What I learn.
I can help you with the English. That's easy. Don't
Fair
ask
enough.
me history. Don't ask me science. Don't ask me. Well, there are other things you shouldn't ask me. We'll leave it there.
Fair enough. All right. So after our we'll get to that conversation in a minute. And we hope that as we go through, if you have thoughts, please feel free. And you are watching the broadcast on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn
Live.
Yes. That you will add comments to it because we know that it adds value to our show. And at the end of the show, Bob and I will each offer our one thing, that antidote for when you are struggling with the topic that we are discussing and that you can hopefully use or have it as a part of your toolkit, at least a piece of it that will impact what's real for you so that you can use that in the future when you need it. And then also, of course, if you have one thing, please feel free to share that in the comments as well. If you are listening to the podcast, you can go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share your thoughts there.
You also can see a really good poll I put up. Are you happy or sad to see this year come to a close?
Oh.
And I think I've talked to probably 30 people, and it's split evenly. Some people are really sad to see it go because they like working from home, or they like the supply chain issues created opportunities for their business, or whatever. So it's not everyone wants to close the book on this year situation.
I would imagine that's probably every year, right?
Yeah, sure.
There are people who are definitely ready for the year to be done and turn the page, and others who are like, can we go back and have this keep going?
Right.
Interesting.
And I think there are a lot of people that would like to go back to 2019 before all this started.
Sure.
And because things were at least clear then. Now I think things are a little more topsy-turvy or convoluted just because of all the things going on.
For certain. Well, and I think what's interesting about that is just like people are different and whether they're ready to go, they're in different places. Always. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that even there are people who don't want to go back to 2019 because there were things that happened in 2019 that for them personally were worse than whatever is going on now. And I think that's something for us always to remember. Everybody's in a unique spot of whether things are going well or they're not. So to be surprised that someone might not be in the same place as you, even though world events seem to think the world thinks it's horrible or they think it's awesome, that doesn't mean everybody else is in that spot. So it's a good
things can change very quickly.
Absolutely. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
If I won the lottery last night, it'd be a good year.
Would you have been here this morning?
I'm not one of those people who check.
Okay.
I still would have been here this morning. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I just want to know. This just in from John Hansen. Tom, you'll enjoy this. It's not 8 a.m.
We're early today.
We're early.
So this is making up for all those days we started at 8:05, 8:07,
right.
8:10. It's the average. Bob, one of Bob's things for next year is he wants the show to start at 8 every day. And I guess the question is that an average at 8 o'clock, or is it?
I got to tell you, Tom, I'm looking at the number of people viewing all week.
Don't tell me that.
7 o'clock would be the right answer.
Well, there is no right answer. It could be the real answer. Could also be real because some people are off this week. Yes. And so they are, and maybe 7 o'clock is the answer.
Same here.
I don't know. I could adjust to that if that's what we decided was what we wanted to try. Might be worth it. So
I used to work a job 7 to 3 because I was trying to teach in the evenings, and it was fine. Once you get used to it, it's harder in the winter than the summer.
Sure, because it's dark.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But yeah. So we should move on, Tom.
Why not? Let's move on to what we start every show with outside of our intro. So I guess that's 6.5 minutes of an intro, which is pretty good. What are you celebrating today, Bob? Our celebrations.
I'm going to celebrate new possibilities. I've got a lot of things going on in my life right now. I've got some business things. I've got some personal things. And I was lamenting to myself yesterday how chaotic things were. And then I realized that I had all kinds of opportunities that I wasn't even looking at. It was all the perspective, the shift of, oh, this is so awkward and so difficult, to, well, there's this thing that could happen, and there's this thing that could happen. And, one of the other things I really saw is the support of friends. Like profoundly supportive. Like John said to me yesterday, I've got a little personal stuff going on. He was like, I'll come down and we can hang out for the evening. I was like, and that's like a 3-hour drive. And I'm like, dude, no, it's not necessary. But that I have people in my life that are that supportive, I think we take that for granted. And I think we take it for granted in our business and in our personal life a lot, because those are the people that are really the glue. As things go up and down and around and you get lost and you get found and things are great and then they go badly, they're the ones that keep you centered on what you're really trying to do. So I think I gave you 3 celebrations at once. Sorry about that.
Do we ever say there was a limit on celebrations?
Guess not. What are you celebrating?
I am celebrating. Very excited about this. So I got an email yesterday from Apple, whatever it is, something from Apple that said your app has been approved, and that within 24 hours it will show up on the Apple store.
It was there last night.
So
you sent me that note and said, check the Apple store. And I'm like, what am I checking? Oh, that was a lot of fun.
That was something to celebrate, because it's interesting, I think, and it ties into our topic a little bit, is that we did a lot of, this has been a longer process than it seemed when we started. And that's okay. I mean, there were things that happened and things that changed, and we were on track and then we were a little off track, and to have now an app available as a way to connect and communicate with more people is exciting. And I think something definitely to figure out how we leverage in a way to get our message out. And so if you are interested in our app, the Renegade Success Network, you can now get it on Google Play or the Apple Store. So go there and download it today.
Tom, I think the really interesting part to me is often we see what businesses are doing and we think they plan these things 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in advance. You and I didn't really start talking about an app till 6, maybe 8 months ago. It wasn't like this was day one.
Sure. No doubt. It was.
And I think that's the evolution that sometimes people think that you have to have everything mapped out in your business for the next 5-10 years or else you're going to fail. And a lot of it just comes as you go.
Absolutely.
We saw the opportunity with the app, but to see that opportunity, we had to see other things first.
Correct. And there was a lot to be done for the opportunity to even begin to be realized. I think that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about. What we've been talking about all week is the kind of ready, set part of anything that you are doing. So before we dive into that and we miss the opportunity to celebrate what the nation is celebrating, we'll get to that discussion in a moment. Bob, what is the nation celebrating today?
It is TikTok Day.
What?
December 29th is TikTok Day, and this is the day to remind people that they have things they probably need to get done by the end of the year. And so you have today, tomorrow, and if you're able to do it on Friday, you have 3 days to get things done. So for instance, you might have some tax things you need to take care of that have to be completed before the end of the year. You may have flexible spending account money that you need to spend. You may have other things that are calendar year specific. So it's TikTok Day to remind people to look at those things.
So not the app, social media app, TikTok.
No, this is TICK and TOCK.
Proper English. That's what you're saying.
Yes. With the Ks, if it didn't have the Ks, then it would be the app.
Okay. It's funny that for all those people who have things that they have deadlines by year end that they have to get done, I'm not sure they're celebrating the fact that there is a clock that is ticking and they have less and less time every minute.
It's more of a reminder.
Sure.
Oh,
do you want a reminder?
Well, I know one year I had to do some tax stuff by the end of the year and I didn't know it because I wasn't prepared. And after the first of the year, it was too late and I missed an opportunity. So I certainly pay more attention to the end of the year than I ever have in the past. It's like, okay, where are we with our finances and what can I do to manage things more efficiently before that new year starts?
Sure.
And I think that's a lot of businesses. And if your business doesn't know what I'm talking about and you had profits for the year, talk to a professional. There are plenty of strategies you can apply to reduce your tax hit and do things like open retirement accounts. Bonus
charitable donations
in different ways. Yeah. So
excellent. TikTok.
And just so we're clear, I'm not a financial advisor or tax professional. Nor
so anything that you heard here is not advice. It's just information.
It's probably true we should probably have that disclaimer for every program.
Probably would be a good idea. All right. So now let's dive into our topic. It's funny. I think we've foreshadowed it with some things that are about ready, set. And, so we talked a little bit Monday of what it was. Yesterday, we talked about planning and how that's kind of a big first step in getting prepared to launch something. And today we are going to talk about preparing and how that goes. And I'm going to start off, if you don't mind, just because this image keeps coming to my head of, I just am going to go back as I did the last 2 days to talk about the sprinter.
Okay.
And the person who's getting ready to run a race. And, the image is so clear when I think about ready, set as planning. We talked about that yesterday as the runner stands and envisions what is it going to look like? Or, for a business or an organization who sees an event coming up or a launch of a product, what we will need to do as we really launch our app, that there's the planning piece of it. And then there's preparing yourself. So the preparing for me is the runner who gets down in their blocks, shakes out their arms and legs and does whatever they need to do to truly be prepared for the gun to go off and the race to start. And I think, it's just that image to me is a reminder of what does that look like. And as we're trying to do these things in our businesses. And I think, and I was also thinking about, what are people doing now to be ready for 2020? Have you been
too? Not 2020.
Yeah, right.
It's a little late for that one. TikTok Day is long gone for 2020.
Long gone for 2020. And, I think it's an interesting, is there people spending this week planning? Are they preparing? Because the inevitable is coming. The calendar is going to turn. It's going to be January 1st, 2022 before we know it. And if we are not ready, that could be okay. And there are a lot of organizations who are like, we're not going to think about the next year until we actually are in it and close out the last. But I'm curious as to where people are at. And I think this preparing is important, whether that's setting goals or intentions or what's your word for the year. There's lots of different ways to actually prepare for what is coming. And I just think that it's a useful tactic to help be better prepared for the launch. Hated it. I was like, I got to use another word, and I couldn't come up with one.
I saw it slightly differently. I like what you said, but I see it a little differently. And that is, I'll tell you a quick story. I have a sister-in-law, and whenever we go and stay at her house, she always has the coffee I like, the non-dairy milk, cookies I like. She just, when we arrive, we feel like we're home. It's not like we're at her house. It's like we're at her house and she transported things from my house to her house. And so that preparation is, the reaction I get every time is, I'm prepared to enjoy time with her because she really values me. And I think for our business, that's what happens. If you are inviting guests to your house, you do what you can to prep for them. It's like, do you need anything? Can I, is this going to work? Can you climb the steps if you're, and be in this room, or do you, all the logistics of it. And that prepares it. So when the person arrives, you're not dealing with all the, I thought that you could climb steps. I didn't realize that you needed decaf coffee. I didn't realize that you didn't use sugar and all those things. And I think for our businesses, it's preparing for what's coming and inviting it,
Sure.
right? I would shift the phrase in terms of what can we do for 2022 right now? How can you invite the new year into your business, into your team, into your organization? What does inviting mean? Because when you invite someone, you say, hey, I open this up to you.
Sure.
Which is different than, here's my business, here's my house. If you know what? I left a key under the door, show up when you're ready, and the lights are all out, and it doesn't, and you basically have a place to crash.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. And I think it also goes along with what we do with businesses and organizations. We're talking about launching an app. And you could, technically, it is available, right? People could go there and download it now and have it.
I did it.
Yes, thank you. And as did I. And there's the opportunity to truly launch it. And to do that, we actually talked about this the other day, is like, what is the date or the time frame by which we're going to launch it? And what's that going to look like? So there's a plan. And then once the plan is in place, what are all the things they do? What's social media posts going to look like? What are
we
emails?
Should actually implement the plan.
Well, correct.
One of us has dropped the ball in another plan, namely me.
No, not necessarily, because I think that is due the 7th. So you have time.
Okay, good. Because that was on my list for today.
The launch is coming up in, I think, January 15th is the start of the launch for that. So, and I think that's part of the challenge for a lot of businesses is you get something new, a new product, a new service, something you want to get out to your clients, your community, your customers.
Or something with your team, right? A different approach. Like, hey, we realize that this phrasing really resonates with our customers. So when you're talking to our customers, use this phrasing. Or, we were doing our accounting this way, but now if we could do it this way.
Right. And I think it's part of, usually those things go a lot smoother if you do some planning, preparing, and then actually do it. You know what it's like to go in and drop a bombshell on a team of, hey, starting today, this is the new procedures. and they're like, wait, what? Where did this come from? How is that going to impact me? I think it happens when people were just like, okay, everybody's going to come back to work. No longer you're going to be virtual, and it starts tomorrow. And this is, noon the day before. So I think that piece of it allows you to have the launch be more effective of it. And I think that makes, sorry.
Oh, no, Tom's sneezing.
Apologize. I try my best to hold that off, and it just didn't work. And I couldn't finish the thought, and it was
no, it's fine. I thought you handled that well. It's fun to watch a person sneeze and not hear it. In my head, I was doing the sound effect.
Fair enough. And I think going back to our app is that we have time now to actually prepare for what that looks like. And that allows you, I think, to have it maybe be differently successful.
Well,
thank you, Cousin Judy,
and to also make decisions not in the moment, right? If you're planning something, you have the opportunity to take in all the information, think about it, and plan a course of action differently than, oh no, the building's on fire. Do I get water out of the bathtub or out of the kitchen sink? Sure. And at that point, you've got to just get water. You can't go, well, the bathrooms, the bathtub, I could get the bucket, I could get more water. The kitchen sink, it's really a slow faucet. I don't have a big thing in there to grab it with. You can't do that in a fire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you don't give yourself time to prepare all the things that you've thought about in that plan, it's going to be even more difficult. I think the two go hand in hand.
Yes.
We talked about yesterday planning, and today is then preparing. Is once you have that plan, well, now there's a lot that goes into being able to plan and have those things actually happen. I think back to, I used to, one of my roles was running a reunion program, and we had 1,500 people coming to campus at a college. This was at a college campus, come to campus for a 3-day weekend where there were multiple events. And so I think and so you couldn't just like, oh, hey, this is the day we're going to happen. Took a lot of not only planning and preparing and getting other people involved who were responsible for different pieces of that. It took time. And I think so often we don't consider the amount of time it takes to prepare for some of those things. And then I think things don't happen because we just want to get them out there. We just want it to happen. We just want people to see it. We want people to have the chance to buy it. And I think often when we do that, we want to implement it in our organization. It doesn't necessarily happen as well as it could have. So there are things that we typically miss. And I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I'm going to. I think that
sounds like I have no choice.
Well, you do, and you don't. Sorry, because I think it's a good example, and I think the opportunity
button.
No, I think Bob, you wrote a great book.
Okay, and thank you.
I think that we didn't really plan and prepare to officially launch that book. We did a few things. We got it out there a little bit. We had some announcements about it, and I think it was available, and some people took advantage of that. And I think looking back on it, there are things we could have done differently that could have and continue to have done that might have made the launch have different results. And I think, I
would agree. And it gives us the opportunity as you're writing your book to say, hey, what would we do differently? Oh, you know what? We need to figure out some events. We need to do some things. We need to strategize around this. And that's a great example because with the book, I know for me, I was just done. Once the book was done, it was like, the work is over.
Sure. And it's, in some regards, the work has just begun.
Correct. If you want to know successful authors and talk to them, they'll tell you the work is not always writing the book. It's the selling of the book, the marketing of the book.
Right. How you get it out there so the people.
Bob Berg told me that when I was talking to him by Twitter one day.
Yeah.
He said that the money is in the after the book is printed.
Well, and I think that's part of the preparing and planning, right?
Yep.
There's the preparing and planning for the writing of it, and then there's the marketing of it. and then there's the actual launch of it. And I think so often we miss many of those pieces in an effort to either, as you say, be done with it, or in our rush to get it out there because we know this is what everybody's looking for. And I just want to get it out there so that they can take advantage of it. And then sometimes it doesn't go as well as we had hoped.
Or that belief that people will find it if it's out there.
Correct.
They'll search for it and find it. Because the world got up this morning and said, The Renegade Way. That's the book I need this morning.
So in case you are looking for it, this is what it looks.
Can't see it with your.
This is what it looks like. And you can find it. You can go to the RenegadeSuccessNetwork.com, or you can go to Amazon and buy it there. So
Tom,
yes,
it's
sir.
that point. It's that one thing time. What's your one thing today?
I think my one thing is, as valuable as planning is, and I do think they go hand to hand, if you skip the step of preparing, you could really miss out on some great opportunities. I think that if you were going back to my runner, if you just stood at the line and said, I don't need to get down in blocks and really prepare my body for this explosion that's going to happen, you're likely not going to have the success that you thought. You might miss an opportunity.
Or you might have success one time and the next time do the same stuff and have a completely different result.
Absolutely.
I see that a lot where people do something and they luck into it. And then the second time they do it the same way without much preparation. It's like it falls on its face. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I think that step of preparing is really key to making sure that the plan, you spend all this time putting a plan together. If you don't take the time to really ensure that the preparation is done, the opportunities could be missed.
I like that. I'm going to just sort of put a little exclamation point on that and say that you have the opportunity to invite that thing you're doing into things, just like how someone can be invited into your house and you make them feel really welcome. I think when we do new things, we don't think about how we can invite that into an organization, into our clients, instead of just saying to our clients, starting January 1st, we have a new address. Send your invoice here, versus, hey, just wanted to touch base with you. We're growing really fast. Our company's getting bigger. We needed a different size warehouse. So we just moved our whole operations. And starting January 1st, we're going to be a lot more effective for you. And if you could do me a favor, can you mail the invoices to this new address? That's inviting the opportunity, because that's different than January 1st, boom, send the invoice, right? Now you've given them a feeling of they're part of something, and you've also helped them be prepared for it. And by having that discussion versus sending them an email, you take their questions on. Oh, really? How fast are you getting? How fast are you growing? Wow, how big is the warehouse? Can I take a tour of it? My company needs a warehouse. What's going on with your old warehouse?
Sure.
And that's, to me, that's where business really starts to take place, is when you can have those types of things happening in the background versus dictating, this is how we're going to be next week. Get over it.
It's interesting. I'm going to add one more thing, if that's okay.
Please.
You just came to my attention, is that one of the things about preparing that just hit me was, as you were talking, is it's not only preparing you and your team, it's preparing your clients and your customers that this is happening. I think back, I have one of my other businesses, I was working with someone and we moved. So our address changed. And I think I put it on the invoice, but I'm not 100% positive. So checks weren't coming. And I was like, they're like, well, we sent it, or other things. And I was like, you know what? I prepared myself, but I didn't prepare others that this was something that is happening. And it goes back to a team is, we're making this big change, this big shift. And as the leader, you've done all this planning and then you put all this preparation together. And sometimes we forget the people on the other side who are going to be receiving this, and how do we prepare them for this to come. So, for example, if you're telling your team, okay, we're all coming back tomorrow in person, they haven't had a chance to prepare for that. You might have been, oh yeah, we've got cleaners coming in every day. This is exactly how we're going to make sure that there's as germ-free as possible. We've set up the conference room so there's limited number of people can go in there and they can stay
hand sanitizer all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've talked to people who have gone into their work and it's a different place.
Correct.
And unbeknownst to them, one person got into the office and there was a list of 23 new things, literally numbered, that you had to do. Like you had to wash your hands or sanitize your hands every hour. And there was no preparation. So people were like, yeah, I'm not, if you give someone 23 steps, they're not going to follow them because they'll forget the third step and then it goes downhill. Real quick, Tom, before we close up today, we are doing some workshops. We're doing the From I Wish to Success, the Renegade Way workshops. We've got a couple scheduled in January. This is an opportunity for you if you're trying to figure out how to get ready, how to get set, how to go, how to look at your team, your business, even parts of your personal life in different ways. This workshop really works. I love what someone told us when she went to their workshop the other day, that it took away the blame about not getting things done. So if you're someone who at this time of year goes, oh, I should have done this. I could have done this. Where did I go wrong? I'm so bad. This is a way for you to really shift that thinking and head into next year in a really powerful, powerful way. I've now done it twice. Tom's led 2 of them. And each of them have really given me insights into things that I thought I fully understood, but they've given me a new pathway forward. And one of them, I did something yesterday based on what it was. It was one of the suggestions that I came up with, and it actually looks like it might yield fruit.
Excellent.
Yes. So I'll put that link. There's that link. It's in, and I'll put it in the show notes for you podcast people who might be driving or grocery shopping or exercising. So you can go in the show notes and it'll be there right there waiting for you.
All right. Excellent. And I just want to thank my cousin Judy for
sharing
this thought. Great show, guys. Very thought-provoking.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice that
what does Judy do in life?
So, she used to be the mayor of the city next to where I grew up to. Definitely was involved in like the city government, town government. I wouldn't call the town that she's in a city. I think if anybody who heard that, they would be like, yeah, not even really small city. It's a town. Although I think it's called the city, but she's part of the government system there and has been the mayor, I'm pretty sure.
But great to have you here, Judy.
Yes, thank you. And great to have everyone else here. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have your one thing you want to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. You can also go to or if you're not yet a member, join our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook. Search for Ring of Renegades. And when you find it, just ask to join and tell us why you're a renegade. And you can become a part of our growing community where we are helping people take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So we look forward to seeing you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning. And I forget, what time are we doing this tomorrow, Bob?
8 o'clock.
8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegade in you and tick tock, tick tock.
It's about to strike 12. Take care. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.